Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Transcend with M. And today is a very special woman. Her name is Maria. She is making a lot of strides in the Hispanic community, and she's helping a lot of small business owners get to the next level, right? To the next step. All of these, selfishly, I mean, she does have a business, but at the same time, her selflessness is amazing. And I am just a little bit curious to hear a little bit more about her story because Maria and I don't know each other for a long time, but I've heard about her enough to make me curious. So welcome, Maria, to our podcast here.
Thank you, Monica. It's a pleasure to be able to do this and maybe get an opportunity to bare my soul.
Yes, yes. So I don't know where you want to start, but I want to hear it all. So tell us who you are, how did you got here, what is that encompasses Maria's world? Like, what is your story?
Thank you, Monica. Well, my name is Maria Gonzalez, and I was actually born in Puerto Rico. I came to the United States when I was 15, and I've been here ever since. I mean, I've been here over 40 years. So, but I grew up on the north of Puerto Rico, and my childhood wasn't like my children, my three boys that I raised. Nothing near that. It was really hard, and my father was a raging alcoholic, and I
Mm.
grew up with watching abuse, and I wasn't the biggest kid in the block, but I was always protecting my mom, and I always got the brunt of it. But I was on top of my mom. I didn't want anything to hurt her. And I my father disliked that because I was the only there were three girls and a boy. And I was always their protector. And my father despised the fact that I was not afraid of him. So he always said, te voy a quitar el nombre. You're not my
Oh my
daughter.
goodness.
And
Yeah.
things like that. And I'm like, my name is Maria. Nobody can take that away from me. Take the last name. And he was a really mean person for whatever reason. And he said to me, and Monica, this has been the fire that it has taken me through my entire life. One day I was 12, and he said to me that I would never amount to anything, that he was going to read about me on the press because I was either going to be a prostitute or a drug user.
Oh
And
my
till this
God.
day, never been any of those things. Because every time I hear his voice, I was like, I'm going to show you. So I developed that I'll show you all personality, and
Yeah.
it served me well. I came here, went to school, graduated very young. I completed high school at 16, and I was on my way to college. And
Wow.
then I had my first child at 21, and from there, then I had my second, and then the last one. He's going to be 30, and my boys never ever in their life experienced one moment of me being so upset that I wanted to, like in the environment that I was raised, because I
Yeah.
made a promise to myself that I would never put a child of
Hmm.
mine through that.
Yeah.
So my boys grew up thinking that everything was, that, hey, we want for nothing. Yes, because your mother makes sure that you want for nothing. And once my last son was born, Gus, I was working full time. I decided to go back to college and finish my bachelor's degree. I
Yeah.
graduated from UMass Boston. And then I decided, you know what, I'm not going to stop there. I applied for BU, was accepted, and I obtained my master's from BU. And I'm the only one in my family that has a college degree. Well, the boys are, the youngest one is about to finish his, but I'm saying, my sisters and my brothers. And that education allow me to
Yeah.
expand my horizons. Through all this, I'm raising three boys by myself, working full time as a police officer because I was a police officer for a long time, and
Wow.
completing my education. There was a time that it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm writing a report for class. And I'm like, I can't do this. And I was getting ready to quit my master's because it was too much. And
Mhm.
my middle son, Armani, said to me, I didn't know he was standing in the corner. He says, you can't do that, Mom. We believe in you. You're a role model. We love you. And I'm like, I dry my tears. Again, the fire that I needed to finish to go across that finish line. And I graduated. And at the graduation, there was only my three boys. So when they called my name, and they were handing me the diploma, the person said, "How many people you brought with you?" And I said, "Just my three boys." But they were
But
so
they were
loud.
yelling, kicking, and screaming of joy
Yes,
and
yes,
proud.
yes. And from there, we went on vacation to Disney, had a great old time, came back to reality. And
Yeah.
then in 2006, I never thought that I was going to give up my career as a police officer because I truly, truly loved it. And I believed that I was making a difference to the invisibles, which
Yeah.
is the elderly and the children. So that was my focus as a police officer. I always, whenever there was a case that involved either one of those groups, I was the first one to volunteer. I'll take it. For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And so one morning, I get this call. Hey, Maria, there's a suicide, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of early, but police officers develop this really twisted humor mentality because of the ugliness they have to see day in and day out. And this is why I'm always laughing, always making jokes. So I get there and I thought I recognized the person. So, I started taking notes and I called the sergeant and I told the sergeant, call Boston PD. I think this is one of theirs. And call the ME and call the state police. And, the sergeant asked, do you think we need the ambulance? And I said, no, trust me, no ambulance is needed. So, I'm taking the notes, making the little drawing, watching everything. And something in the back of my head was saying, get ready, Maria, get ready, Maria. And I'm like, yeah. So the sergeant says, oh, yes, a Boston police officer. And all of a sudden, I hear over the minivan, over the fence, there was a house there, and I looked up when I heard, Jesus Christ, Maria, that's Denise. And I just look at him, look at her, and it was like somebody hit me with a sledgehammer right on my sternum. I just went back. That was my friend, and my brain was trying to prepare my heart. We worked together in Boston, and I had just had coffee 3 days before, and I actually make the comment, Denise, you have lost a ton of weight. What's going on? Well, the kids are autistic, and working as a police officer is just too much, Maria, just too much. I said, well, if you ever need me, let me know. I'll babysit. And she goes, yeah, right. So I left. And 3 days later, I was the one that discovered her body. And that really, really hit me to the point that, I was asking God, do you want me to stay in this path or do you want me to do something else? My grandson was just born, my oldest grandson, who is 16 today. And I asked God, do you want me to keep doing this or you want me to do something else? Send me a sign. Well, be careful what you ask for it. Right after that, I went home and I decided that I didn't want to be a police officer anymore. I turned my badge, turned my gun in my radio. And, the commissioner the chief of police was like, don't leave. We need you. I was the only Latino Spanish speaking in the community in one of three women. So from there, I left, never looked back. And I went to work for the state, the Operational Services Division, and I became the program coordinator for the small business program. And that's where I learned everything that I do today for the community and the small business, especially the BIPOC business community. I learned it at the state. I retired from the state in 2018, and I started my business in 2019, right before COVID hit us in the face. Um, so I knew everything there was to know about certification with the state. Then I decided, you know what? I'm going to pivot and I'm going to learn how to do everything related to federal certifications and learn as much as I can. And I did that. It took me 7 months, webinars. I actually put myself through all the certifications. And let me tell you, thank God this, they sell color in the stores because my hair completely turned white. Um, and here I am, making connections, networking. Um, I became a member of Labo. I love Elizabeth. She's doing a fantastic job. I'm a member of Latino EDC in Springfield. Andrew is doing an amazing job. And then I met fantastic people like Paulette, Michelle, Ileana, you. So I know I'm in the right path. I know there's a need for what I do. I volunteer my services here in my community. I became the first Latino board member in the chamber here. And once I was in, I was running like somebody was behind me. We're doing, trainings for
Love
in
it.
Spanish, training for the small business community. A member of the mayor's office professional women's group, and I next week I'm going to be sworn in as a commissioner for the Commission of Status of Women in Massachusetts.
That's amazing.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
know that.
No, no,
Very,
that's a
very
tidbit. I
nice.
was just waiting for the pictures, but I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag.
That's awesome. Well, by the time this airs, the cat will be out of the bag. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely. And I'm
That's a good
hoping
thing.
that in that position I'll be able to give a push to all the women that are in business, regardless of color, faith. You know what I'm saying? Um, I hope that I'm gonna be that voice. And I know that you know how they say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You're gonna need like 10 gallons to quieten down.
You're going to do just fine. And
Thank
you are
you.
going to
Thank
be
you.
excellent at it because you are an excellent individual. So,
Thank you.
how is the need out there, Maria? Because I know that you are one of the few people that is able to teach, especially the minorities in the Latino community, about how to actually succeed on opening, a business, getting certified. Tell me about what you have learned in this journey about the need out there and how can we get a little bit more involved into being part of the solution.
Right. Again, I want to say that I have surrounded myself with a group of women that are so driven, so outspoken, and I love it. The energy just propels me to never quit, never take a step back. Like Boricua said, "Pa atrás ni pa coger impulso," no? And
Exacto, pa'lante.
always balance. And I'm on LinkedIn and I see all these young entrepreneurs, coaches, and I really get re-energized every time I read their posts, and I'm constantly
Mhm.
reading posts, and my admiration for them is priceless. So, what can we do? We really sometimes we forget how much we have struggled, and we have to make time to help those that want to but don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
Case in point, I somebody brought to my attention that there's this very young entrepreneur here in Taunton. She's a Latinx. She's from the
Mhm.
Dominican Republic. She was raised here, and she's a hardworking mother of four. And she had this fantastic idea, but every time she reached out for help, they would give her the runaround. And somebody took pity on her and said, "Look, there's a woman named Maria Gonzalez in Taunton. She's your neighbor. Give her a call. This is her contact information. I
Yeah.
promise you, you will not regret it." From the first meeting, which was last Monday, we were talking for 3 hours and
Wow.
listening how much she struggled. And when I tell you that she has a fantastic business idea, and it broke my heart that people were giving her the runaround. I
Yeah.
sat with her and I created a roadmap for her. And I said, this is what you need to do. She was just looking at me, shaking her head. She goes, how do you know all this? And I said, well, years of experience, and you'll get to benefit from that. So now that she has a clear map to
Mhm.
how to go from A to all the way to Z, this woman has been nonstop accomplishing everything that is on that roadmap. We're all in this to make money. um, it's very few cases that I will say, I will, let me help you. Let me
Yeah.
help you, but with the promise that you will always pay it forward.
Mhm.
So I know that everybody, again, we all have bills,
Yeah.
you know,
Hey, we work for a reason.
yeah,
We need
exactly.
to
We work
eat.
for
We
a
need
reason.
to eat.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I truly believe that what you put out, you get it on the other side double. I
Yeah.
truly believe in that, and that propels me to till this day. I, you know, I wish I could do it for free for more people, but I can't.
Yeah.
But I help those that truly need to be helped, and I hope that more of us would do that, maybe create
Yeah.
something where we can deposit all this knowledge and have people go in and learn. I mean, all that information is out there, Monica. It is.
Yeah.
It's finding the time to put it all together in
Mhm.
one place to make it easy to not only women like Reina, who,
Yeah.
4 kids working full time, but she, like I said, she has an incredible product.
Yeah.
And or people that don't speak the language, you know.
Right. Right.
So uh,
That's a huge hurdle because so I'm in insurance, as you know, and 90% of my clients are minorities, Hispanic, Latinos, Brazilians. And from that 90%, I will say 75% to 80%, we have to communicate on their own language. And we have built our team trilingual. Like I've been learning Portuguese for the past year and change. Um, so I can communicate with my clients, right? And our staff, our entire staff, there's not one person. They all of them speak all three languages: English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
that's amazing.
Be- because it is real. It is real, and unfortunately, here in America, we there are certain sectors like health that do an amazing job about having everything translated on all languages, and they offer translators. But when you go to anywhere else, when it comes to business or mortgages or real estate transactions, doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. So it is so important. That language barrier is, I will say, one of the biggest issues as of why people don't succeed. And it's not that they don't want to learn. It is
Right,
just they are brilliant people, but nobody helps them. Nobody wants to help them. So we have to step up. We do.
right. We do. One of the things I noticed a lot within our community, the BIPOC business community, especially the Latinos, Latinx,
Yeah.
Hispanic, but is the fact that when they come to me seeking my help, I do have a form that I I ask them to fill out because it gives me a better picture of what services do they need and where they're lacking. So sometimes I get this form back like 2 lines filled, and I'm like, so
Mhm.
you have an LLC and you don't have business documentation. Well, no, nobody told me I needed those. And you don't have a license. No, well, nobody told me that. And I said, so you've been operating without insurance for how long? And I'm just sitting here and I said, sweet Jesus, please protect them because I know they have a need. Otherwise, why would they be running a business?
Yeah.
But and I tell them, I said, oh, we have to clean your table and get
Mm-hmm.
all this in order. And when they realize that
Yeah.
how many moving parts there is to a business, they're like, can you help us? And I said, absolutely. And then I have,
Yeah.
again, I have people like you, I have CPAs, I have accountants. After all, I'm a consultant. I have
Yeah.
a roster of people that can help them, which they're amazed. And I'm like, well, this is a one
Mhm.
stop. De todo como en botica. ¿Quién encuentra de todo como en botica?
Hay que
And
hacerlo, hay que hacerlo, hay
hay
que
que
hacerlo.
hacerlo. Definitivamente. And that to me was an eye opener. Um, for example, there's a lot of, and I'm sure you have come across this, a lot of small businesses that they have no idea that they have to keep accounting for their business. So they have their
Mhm.
children, their brother, their
Yeah.
mother-in-law. And when at the end of the year money's missing, I'm like, really? Who's doing your accounting again? Really? Oh yeah. That was
Oh,
ten
that's
thousand
so
dollars
funny.
missing. What? And I said, no,
That's
no, no,
so
no, 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 no.
funny.
Let me give you, and you can reach to this the CPA, the accountants. They all speak Spanish.
Mhm.
I promise you that they'll help you. You can't
Yeah.
have your brother-in-law do your accounting.
No, you're gonna go to ruins.
Right, right. But it's so sad that it's funny because
Ay.
again, el que no ve es como el que no sabe. Period.
Mhm.
And you don't know what you don't know. So we need this kind of collaboration
Yeah.
uh, to help all those that are behind us that are
Mhm.
banging around the road, not knowing which direction to go.
Yeah. So tell me more about, your passion for helping women as well. I mean,
Mm.
what you just gonna get sworn in is a huge, role within Massachusetts. So tell me more how that came to be, the story behind it, and what are you trying to accomplish?
Well, like I told you, my childhood wasn't the greatest, and I I also have older sisters, and some of them were also battered women.
Yeah.
And I was actually a battered woman myself because that's what I grew up watching, and I thought that was the way. And then I realized the minute I became a mother, I became a freaking tiger girl. You,
We all do, right?
the
It's like
last
that.
time
Sí,
anybody put a
super
finger on me
protectora. Yeah.
was 39 years ago. That's the age of my son.
Mhm.
And that was the last time. I was okay. You can hit me all you like. Do not turn to my son. And that was his mistake. Never,
Yeah.
ever. Oh, he didn't even finish. I just saw him go like this. And he was like, I sprinted. It was like, ta, 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 ta. And I just jumped on him. And I'm like, you're not touching my son. Get out. Until this day, I have become and I became an advocate. That's why I became a police officer, Monica, because I wanted to teach the younger generation and the woman in my life that nobody has to hate you. Love by hurting you, that's not love.
Yeah.
Love by controlling you, that's not love.
Mhm.
So I am very, I mean, till this day, my kids call me their pit bull. So, till this day, and like I said, my baby's 30 years old. Look at him cross-eyed. I dare anybody to look at my kids or my grandkids cross-eyed. I
Yeah.
just don't, I have a granddaughter. I am very passionate about teaching
Mhm.
her. You have to speak up,
Yeah.
do it with, be kind, be respectful, but do not take anything that doesn't make you feel comfortable. You
Right.
do not bully, but you don't allow anybody to bully you either.
Right.
And lo and behold, she's about to be 15, and my son says to me, "Oh, she's you, mom. I can't believe she's a mini you." And I'm like, "You want her to be that way.
Yeah.
You absolutely want her to be that way."
Especially on these days where like there is many different ways that can happen. There is social media, there is all these
Right.
things that we we can't really protect them like we used to do back in the day, right? Like before you will show up down the street and say, hey, why is your son doing this? Or like, now it is just easier to be behind like screen or to hide and still do harm. So we have to teach them to become stronger. We have to teach them to, understand that it's not okay, not because it happens and it's public that it's okay.
Right.
It's I have an 11-year-old, and
Mm.
she's so much like her dad. It's And I thought, I'm like, oh my God, she's just gonna be awful because, she's very strong and very like, not your business type of girl. Like, it's like, but now seeing, how she behaves around her little friends and staying away from the drama at school and all this stuff, I was like, actually, it is okay. I have these doubts about, my husband's methods, but, I'm like, okay, it works because I'm more of a softie. so,
Most
so
mothers
all,
are.
all
Most
she gets
mothers
from
are.
me is like, let's hug and let's kiss and like, I need you. Let's just come and, and cuddle. And she sees a lot of the business side of me, and she has adopted that, like she has drive. She
It's good.
she every day she comes and she has a new idea for a business, and she makes me call city hall and like stuff like that. But the inner strength, I grew up in a very loving family, and it's, that's all I give her. But my husband didn't, and it's a whole different scenario with him. So I think we kind of do like a good team where like he teaches certain things, I teach other things, and she's coming around. But I'm a little scared when the teens come into play, because it is a changing world, but it's like too fast, and I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like.
Right.
Before you could kind of predict, but now it's like we don't know. We don't
Right.
really know.
Right. Right. It's not easy to raise kids nowadays. I mean, when I was raising mine,
Mm.
it was, they were, that generation was known as the latchkey kid. And all
Mm,
three of them, I was so, because I was a police officer, I knew the evil that was out there. And they never slept over anywhere.
yeah,
I'm like, if you want to sleep over, I need to go and do an inspection, talk to the parents, let's see if they have any drugs, any guns. I mean, and they were like, you know what, mom? I don't want to stay. And I said, good.
yeah,
When we had sleepovers, I will make sure I will call the parents and I said, look, I'm a police officer. There's a gun in the house. I just needed to let you know that if that makes you uncomfortable, you
yeah,
have the right not to let your child hear. My gun is in a
right,
safe. However,
yeah,
there's a gun in the house. And
yeah,
that's what responsible parents do.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
But
And
yeah,
it's and it's so it's each one of our stories definitely has a big part on how we play a part in society, right? Like you became a police officer, now you're helping people, and now you're gonna be helping women, and teenagers, and we all have kind of like our stories carved out because we want to see a better future, right? Because
absolutely.
we don't want to leave it the same way we saw it once. Because everybody, this is one world, but everybody has a different lens of this world. Like we could be living in the same house and we have two different views of what that world looks like, right? So, what is one message of empowerment that you will share with women listening today?
You know, there are many floating in my head, but I am
All
going
right.
to say fierce. Always, always be fierce.
Yeah.
There's nothing more breathtaking to me than when I see a woman speaking up,
Yeah.
regardless of what it is, speaking up. And I just take a moment and I'm on the sideline. I'm like, somebody disrespect this woman. I'm coming after them. And I'm just standing there. I still know how to fight. I was a police officer. And I
I'm
just
gonna
went,
be like, you don't want to know my friend Maria.
hey,
See?
and if we
Yes.
turn that woman into a young girl and it's a
Mhm.
young girl speaking up, my heart swells. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fierce. I
Mhm.
love that word. I really, really do.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you, Maria, for sharing your story. Thank you so much for taking time of your day and being here with us today. I, really thank the universe for bringing us together because I know we're going to do a lot of work together and we have so many women in common. And I love being part of this amazing tribe that, we have come together without really seeking it, right?
Right?
It just happened. So
We
I'm really excited to learn more from you, to continue to learn, not just at a personal level, but at a business level too, because we can help a lot of people together. And I think the beauty of doing this and sharing all these stories is because we have a purpose, to help, and we have a purpose to leave this world better than we found it. And I think we're very well aligned on that regard. So thanks so much.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you for this opportunity, and looking forward to collaborate with you in the new year, and will be a huge success. I feel it.
Oh, we will affirmations, that's all we need to
Yes,
work
ma'am.
on.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Maria. Have an amazing night.
You as well. Take care, Monica.
Take care.